Hey guys, my name is Devin. I run Tar Heel Engraving. So I've had my laser engraver now for going on 2 years. So today I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I wished I'd have known when I first started and some of what I've learned over the last 2 years. So stay tuned and maybe some of the stuff that I learned can help you out. So here's my laser engraver. It's an Xtool D1 Pro 10-watt laser engraver. This was one of the mid-tier laser engravers that I could buy off of Amazon. I purchased this after doing weeks of research, trying to decide which laser engraver would be best for me. I knew that this would be a great engraver because of the size of the engraver. It's 24 inches by 24 inches, how it's open so I don't have to worry about ventilation or anything like that. And also with this module head, I could remove the module head and put on a new module head if I ever decide to get a more powerful engraver. So far it's done great for me, but unfortunately they've discontinued the Xtool D series. So the 10 watt, 20 watt, and 40 watt engravers are no longer available. So I've got some other engraver ideas down in the comments section below. I like the Locklick iEngrave. It's a very good engraver that pretty much does everything that the Xtool D1 Pro does, but you can use your phone as an app rather than Xtool Creative Space. One thing that I didn't realize when I started engraving, that it was going to take so much upfront cost to start engraving, to hone in my skills to be able to become a good engraver, because you have to practice a lot. I know when I first started, it was kind of a frustrating 2 or 3 month period because it seemed like every time I tried to engrave something I would mess up. And I still mess up occasionally, but I just want to show you some of the practice material that I've got here. So like here's an example. I tried to make an earring for somebody, and as you can see it says I love you on it. And the first time I did it, it was crooked, and the second time I did it, it looks like maybe I burnt it a little bit too much. So wasn't too happy with the turnout there, but when I did it the second time and figured out exactly where I needed it on the piece of material, where I needed to start the engraving, I could just turn down the power a little bit or turn up the speed. That way it wouldn't burn as much. And I've also got an air assist that's helped me out with that as well. Then some other examples. Here's a plant stake. I made the lettering upside down. Easy fix, but it's just something that's kind of annoying. I've done some coasters before that I've had to engrave on multiple different times because maybe I made a little bit off center or it just didn't engrave right. I use these coasters a lot. I love the wood coasters, but with it being a circle, you definitely can tell when it's off center. I use a lot of these pieces of small basswood material that I practice engraving on. So you can see some of them I burnt through a little bit more than I wanted to, so maybe it was time to practice on it again. And then these pieces of material, as you can see, I've made a couple different earrings on it, so I have room for a few more here on the top. But I highly recommend getting these. These are just 4-inch by 4-inch basswood squares, something that you can practice on. And there's a lot of different wood variables that are very similar to this, that this can help you out with a lot. Another thing that I engrave quite a few of are tumblers. Here's this example of how many times I've tried to practice on this one tumbler. These aren't very expensive, but if you get a Yeti or something, or some name brand like a Stanley, you don't want to mess it up for the customer. So it's good to have some cheap tumbler to practice on, so then when you go to do the real thing, it looks good. Because if you're off 1 little inch, it will make all the difference in the world on your tumbler, and it'll look wonky, and you won't want that. So it's best to just practice a couple times before you try to start on the real thing, and that'll save you some heartache there in the future. There's a lot of different types of material that you can engrave on, such as stainless steel with the tumbler, wood, stone, plastics, anything like that. So you want to be well versed in each different area there. So if somebody asks you to do something and they need it quickly, you don't have to spend 5 hours trying to just figure out how to engrave on it in the first place. You can just go grab your piece of material and start working on it. But pretty much any time that I'm about to engrave something, I try to practice at least once. And I be sure to frame everything as many times as possible, just to be sure that I have it squared up exactly right on my piece of material, because I don't want it to look sideways or off kilter. I want it to be perfect for the customer. Another thing that I was kind of surprised about when I started this laser engraving journey is I really thought it would be easy to sell things. I mean, you can personalize this for anybody, but you don't realize how much competition there is out there. I figured once I made my Etsy store or my Facebook Marketplace store or my eBay store, that once I posted these items that were personalized, that many people would just flock on there to try to buy them. But that's really not the case. You really have to push your items. You have to be sure that it's personalized different than what other people have it. And then you also got to make sure that you have a niche that you like. One thing that I found out is really good is to create personalized religious items as well as personalized wedding gifts or wedding items. Because these are just things that, for one, is never going to go out of style, and then two, there's a huge audience for it. If you just have something generic, like a Christmas ornament or something like that, there's just so many Christmas ornaments out there for people to choose from. If you have something that's very specific for a wedding, people are really going to like that. So I've done quite a few of those different items in the past. But it's hard to get your customer base started. And I probably haven't done that myself much on Etsy. It's kind of been a hard stretch where there'll be some weeks that I'll get a bunch of sales and some weeks that I won't get hardly any. So it's a little unfortunate and it's a little discouraging sometimes. But all in all, it's a good journey and you learn a lot from it. What I've found the best way to sell things is to take them to your family members, take them to your church members, friends, co-workers. Once you've checked all those boxes, maybe take them out into the community. I like to set up at a farmer's market in town here that I can do $50 to $100 every Saturday of just making earrings. And that's not too hard. It takes a couple hours every week to get it prepared, but you think if you make $100 and have 2 or 3 hours work, you're making $20 to $50 an hour, just depending on how many hours of work you've put in. So when you look at it like that, it's as just a fun hobby, it's pretty good. And if you're looking to do it full time, that's great as well, but you're just gonna have to put more effort and time into it. And if you're in a bigger area, I live in a small town, so if you're in a bigger area where there's a bigger farmer's market, maybe apple festivals or vendor fairs or October festivals or just something like that, where you can go and set up a tent, that might also be another great place to try to go and sell your items. I've never had a vendor tent at a big festival like that because I just don't have the time to create everything that I need for it, because you definitely need a lot of inventory, but that's something that I want to do in the future. Another quick tip that I'll give, you got to be sure to differentiate your products from other vendors and other crafts. So one thing that I like to do whenever I make earrings, because that's one of my favorite things to make, I like to put them on a backer card, just like anybody would do. I like to put them in a little cellophane sheet here and tape it up just like you would at the store, so there's nothing different there. But I want people to know that I'm professional. I'm just not some kid trying to do this for a hobby, that I've done it for a while and that I know what I'm doing and that it looks clean and nice. But something that differentiates me from somebody else is I like to put the finished product in like a little bag or something like that, so it'll give them just a little keepsake. And it's hitting but a few cents each bag, so it's really not costing me that much. But when they get everything together, it's just a nice little keepsake or a gift that they don't have to worry about wrapping, and that whoever they give it to, whether it be their significant other, their children, their parents, whatever, they know that it looks nice, they're happy about it, they can open it up and reuse this bag in the future and remember who they got it from. So that's just one tip. Try to make your product stand out. Whenever you're shipping, don't send it in some nasty box that you've had sitting in your back corner for a month. Be sure to ship it in something nice so that the customer is pleased when they get their package. So those are just a few different things that I've learned over my last few years here laser engraving. It's been a lot of fun and I really enjoy doing the videos for you guys. I feel like I'm helping people out and I love to answer comments when I'm able to, and just feel like I've got a connection with my audience. So I hope you guys feel that way as well. But there's a lot of learning curves when it comes to engraving that I want you guys to know about, and that you think, well, when you start engraving that you can just do it real quick and then quit your job. That's not going to be how it is for most people. Unless you go all in 110% working on it 40 hours a week, it's going to be hard to be able to supplement your full-time income. But a lot of people do it, and more power to them, and I congratulate them, and I honestly don't know how they do it. But if you have a bigger laser engraver than what I've got, something that you can mass produce items, maybe make 10 tumblers at a time rather than one, I could see how that could happen. But with what I've got now, it's just hard to do that. So I just do it for a hobby and a little side hustle and make a little money here and there on the weekends and stuff. I also like to make projects for my family whenever they have something going on as just a good little gift here and there, something that they can take with them and use in the future. So next I'll do a little tour of my engraving setup. So here's my Xtool D1 Pro. This is what my engraver looks like. As you can see, the module arm goes up and down, and then the module itself goes side to side. And that makes it easy whenever I'm doing an engraving because it can move wherever I need it to. I also have room here over on the side where I can plug in my PC to then import the files onto my engraver. Also here below I've got my air assist, which runs up to the engraver. This is here to make sure that there's no burn marks and to make sure that the engraving turns out perfect just about every time. I've also got this area here where I keep a lot of my laser engraving items. Some of the items that I've already engraved, and then some items that I have to engrave in the future. This whole area right here is just some small things. As you can see, I've got a tape measure, a level, just some practice materials. Here are the two legs for my laser engraver so I can lift it up whenever I'm trying to do tumblers. I also have laser engraving metal spray that I use whenever I'm trying to do tumblers as well. It just helps as a final product of the tumbler to look better once it's all said and done. I've also got some UV glasses here that you can wear whenever you're engraving to be sure that it doesn't hurt your eyes. Then I've got two big boxes of tumblers that I do quite a bit of. I've got cutting boards, large circular wood pieces that I can use for engravings, different boxes of jewelry that I can make, some more earring items, such as the hoops and the earrings themselves, the Xtool Air Assist guide, and I've got my Xtool D1 Pro guide there as well. So just a bunch of different items that I can use to practice on. And if anybody needs anything, I pretty much have all my bases covered, and if I need any more, I can just go to the store and buy it. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and maybe have learned a little bit about laser engraving and about my journey over the last 2 years laser engraving. It's a great hobby to get into. You want to make sure that you have an area that is well ventilated. So I'm doing my laser engraving right now in a garage where I can open the two garage doors beside of me, and it lets the airflow come in and out, so it ventilates the whole garage. But this is not something you can just do in your living room or your kitchen because you gotta be able to have good ventilation unless it's really close to a window. But I wouldn't recommend it in an area that you're inhaling a lot unless you have a ventilated engraver. But anyways, if you found some benefit from this video, I'd love if you would subscribe to my channel so I can continue to make some great content. And if you really like the video, I'd love for you to hit the like button down in the description below. If you've got any comments, just leave them down in the comments section. I'll try to get to them as quick as possible. And if you have any just comments about day-to-day engraving life, I can try to answer those as well. Because, you know, everybody's in the same boat and nobody really knows until they ask questions or get to the laser engraving themselves. So if it's something that you're gonna go spend $1,000 for a laser engraver and then not do it, it really would just not be worth the time to do it. So you might as well just ask the questions now so that it'll help you in the future. So thanks for watching, and I hope everybody has a great one. Happy engraving.